in the previous video we had done a few database level changes. Okay, so in this video also we'll be doing a few other database level changes. So what we did in the previous video was we did a few mistakes in creating the schema. Okay, so the first thing that we have to change over here is that in the seeds table, what we have done here is we have kept here the show time and all other things. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to move the show times. Okay, the shows table is perfect, sorry, I mean the seeds table. In the seeds table we do not have any mapping yet. Okay, so we have to change a few mappings. So we have to do changes in these two tables. One is the seeds table and another one is the show seeds table. Okay, so what problem we have encountered over here is that if we have to map things, okay, so like here we are getting two different parameters for this thing. So for the find seeds we will have a show id and a theater id. So when we take the show id and the theater id, okay, so if we have to map these two things, these are two different tables, so it will be quite cumbersome to map two different tables and all these things. So what we'll do is we'll slightly modify this schema of ours. Okay, so a few tables that need to be modified. So in the seeds table, what I'm going to do is I'm slightly going to alter this thing. So after the theater id, I'm going to add this thing, theater id. Let's add two new fields. Okay, 2 or 3 new fields. Okay, so one will be a seat row and seat column. Okay, seat row and seat column, so which will denote the exact position of this thing. Okay, so let's just save this two fields. Okay, so these are added, and now the status that we are saving over here in the seats table, that we'll have to discard from here. Okay, so because the status needs to be saved or associated directly with the show. Okay, not exactly the seat but the show. Like if you are having 4 different shows in a single day, like 4 p.m. show, 3 p.m. show, so every show will have the same seat. Okay, but the status is going to change according to the show. Okay, so here the thing that we have created for now is wrong, so we'll delete this row as well. Okay, so sorry, not row, tuple, not tuple, what do you call, column, sorry. So we'll delete this thing, and then what we are going to do is we'll shift the unnecessary parts in this thing. Okay, so apart from this, for now we'll be adding yet another column, will be the seat type. Okay, so for now we'll be just adding this thing, seat type. Like, it wouldn't have any implication as such. So like that, just seat type. We could have an integer or a tiny int for this thing. Okay, let's save this thing. So like there won't be much different types for seat types. So there will be like a premium seat or a royal or that sort of a thing. Okay, so we are just having these columns for the sake of it, so it doesn't really make any impact on the things that we're developing. And now the show seats table. Okay, the show seats table. So here what we have to do is here we have to refer to that status from here. Okay, so here we'll add the status column after. Okay, so here I will add the status column and int. Okay, and if it's 0, the seat is empty, and if it's 1, the seat is occupied. So that logic we are going to use over here. Okay, so let's start filling up the data. Right, so shows data we already have, seats also we already have. Okay, so the seats are there according to the, what you could say, the theater. Okay, so like first 3 rows you see over here are for theater 1, okay, G1, and these are for the theater 2, G2. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll add these seats into the seat show seats table. Okay, so let's just get started. And G1 and seat 1. Okay, so user ID you have to keep blank for now. Okay, so okay, it is giving a foreign key constraint fail. Let me just change it a bit. So this is kind of a hack that we are using. So here you'll see no null values are allowed over here. So what we are going to do is we will keep default as null. Okay, so this will allow null values, but technically foreign keys should not allow null values. Okay, so according to the what do you call, the SQL specs, you shouldn't be having any null values inside a foreign key. Okay, so but yet we are allowing this thing. So yeah, kind of a hack, you could say. G1 1, and this will be MTC here. So you have a null tick mark over here. So we have kept it null. Okay, so status, I'm going to keep it 0. Okay, and mapped it for seat 1 of theater 1. Okay, so just making sure, and we have it assigned over here. Theater, it's show seats table. Yeah, we have this seat over here, theater 1. Okay, seat ID, and again we'll have yet another seat, one more seat we'll have. Okay, just for sake of it, G1 only I'll add. Okay, seat ID I'll keep 2 over here, and here what I'll do is I'll keep the status as 1. Okay, that is an occupied seat. Okay, so how actually booking will take place, that we'll see afterwards, but for now let's just see how we can run the things. Okay, so G1. Okay, so now here we are having an error. Okay. So this error, let me check what it is. Yeah, we have not written the query. Okay, so what we have to do here is select star from, let me show you the query. So what we have done is we have taken show seats table. So in this table we have both our parameters that we are having, show ID and theater ID. So what, instead of joining two different tables or sort of a thing, for now we could simply do a direct query. Show ID is this and theater ID is this one. Okay, so this will give you a total number of seats that are in a certain theater. So what I will do is 1 and 1. Okay, so I don't remember the show ID that I had taken, but I guess yeah, I had taken 1 only. So here you can see both the seats are written for 1:1. Okay, so the show seats table where show ID is 1 and theater ID is 1, so it has written, see, a show ID 1, which is for this show, and theater is G1 theater. Okay, so show 1. Okay, and just copy this query and replace it with this one. Okay, just make sure you know this extra tills sort of thing, and we are good to go. We did not have this what do you call, semicolons as well, that don't make any sense as such. Okay, you can have it or you can skip it, no matter what. And request show ID, request theater ID. Okay, and here we have got the theater ID. Now what we are going to do is we are going to return view to we must have created a display seats view and compact, and we'll transfer this seats data, okay, to our view. Okay, as simple as that. And let's just check showing. Oh, display seats was not found. So here like in the previous videos we had created display shows. So what we have to do is simply we have to create display seats. Okay, so if I let's just check where this created display seats blade PHP. Okay, and here we can simply do two things. Just a second. what we're going to do here is we are just simply going to copy the previous code from here. Okay, display seats, and we are going to modify it to make it work. Okay, so let's just copy this thing, display seats, and modify it according to what we have written in this case. Okay, so here what we are transferring is seats. Okay, so let's just change the variables over here. So shows becomes seats and show becomes seat. Okay, so seats as seat. Okay, so the for is completed for now. Okay, but for this one we need to have a counter variable. Why I'm going to use a counter variable? Because seats in theater are arranged, you could say, in a certain way. For now we'll be arranging into rows and columns, so that is exactly why I have the rows and columns. Okay, so for now I'm not taking any sorting or any sort of a thing. So but in future when we are about to complete this project we might do that thing, so that is why I'm having this counter and stuff. Okay, so for now we will be using this counter simply for arranging in rows and columns, not to complicate anything. Okay, so just start PHP and PHP, and we are having a counter variable over here. Okay, which does nothing, just sorting the seats in, you could say, arranging the seats in a certain fashion. Okay, and now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write an @if, that is the if condition. Okay, where I will check the seat status. Like I said, seat status, if it's 0 it is empty seat, and if it's 1 it's a filled seat, or the occupied seat, whatever you could say. Okay, so for that I've taken a few images over here. If you could see, one is the empty seat image and one is the occupied seat image. Empty seat image is called empty seat.png, and occupied image is called occupied.png. So whenever you are trying to access any kind of images or what you would say mine data, or CSS or any kind of media file in Laravel, then you should put it into the public directory. Okay, in the public directory you could create co-directories or subdirectories, and inside those directories you can have your media files and all sorts of things. Okay, so for now I have not created any folder as such. In the next version we might create those things. Okay, so for now first is a 0 condition. Okay, and here what I'm going to write is imgsrc, which is the image tag simply, and this will this will allow us to embed an image inside. The image we'll be getting from Laravel. Okay, so for that we write url : asset, and here asset, not assert, just remember. And here inside this thing you would have this thing, so it has the path of the public directory by default. Okay, so you'll have to use this path. So if you're having any folder or any sort of a thing, like if you're having images folder, then you write images / this thing. Okay, so currently we do not have any folder, so we are using this thing. Okay, so just make sure you have the right path with the right folder, and width is, you can keep 32 by 32. Okay, because this should be a small icon. Okay, so just so that you make out what the seat type is, for that purpose it is there. Okay, and here what I'm going to write is @else. Okay, so this is how you use if else condition in a blade file. Okay, so just so you know, and just end it with an end if. Okay, so this syntax looks very, what do you call, different than our regular PHP syntax, but yeah, this is how we write it in blade files. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change one. I'm going to keep it occupied. Okay, and after that what we're going to do is we are going to have, and after this thing, before the for each, what we're going to do is, now that we have created a seat, so after, to form what you call a row and column approach, like how we have in a real theater, we are going to have an if condition that will go to the next line and add a break tag. Okay, to the next line. So for that purpose we are using the ct variable that we have created over here. Okay, So if $city colon, sorry, we are checking mod 10. Okay, so if it's divisible by 10, okay, so what you have to do is add a break time, simply, nothing fancy, nothing else. Okay, and else ampersand NBSP. Okay, yeah, you could add 2 times NBSP if you think you need more space. So yeah. And again, and if, I know the code looks a bit weird for this point, but yeah, this is simply for just the spacing purpose. It doesn't serve any other purpose. So again, PHP and NPHP, and here you can increment that variable. City is equals to city plus 1. Okay, and let's just see how this things look. Okay. Okay, let me check. What has happened. Okay, yeah, we forgot to add tuple. This we added find seeds, right? Yeah, we have already added it. We don't have to add the route. So why it is not showing over here? Let me check where it has created this thing. Movie controller, display seeds. Yeah, it should work. Which movie we had added it for? Let me check. Movie is one only. Okay, better one. Yeah. Sorry. So here the first seat is the empty seat, and the second seat one is the occupied seat. So till now we have reached to the point where we have created a slide layout of the empty and the occupied seats. So in the upcoming videos, what we'll see is how we could interact with this sitting, okay, and how we will interact or create user access, or how to create user login from where user can book seats for himself. And then finally we'll go to the payment part. So here we will not be simulating a direct payment, we will not be doing the direct payment as such, but we'll be simulating slightly something that looks like a payment gateway. Okay, so for now this is what I had to offer in this video. In the upcoming videos we'll see how to interact with this thing. Okay, thank you.